Personally, no. I'm terrified. I try to stay away from on Twitter and Facebook and all these blogs and fan sites. I think, don't get me wrong, I do appreciate that they're out there, and it's a humbling feeling that there are fan sites dedicated to the show and to me as an actor. And I know they're doing an amazing job. There are people working 24/7 on updating, you know, what's going on in my life and my career, and in my private life, and I appreciate, if not all, but most of all that. But on a personal level, I think I'm scared. I don't think it's good for me as an actor or a human being to engage in or to read every single. And I keep telling Kristin this because she has a tendency to Google herself and read all these comments, and then she'll come to me and she'll be like, "Why do they say that?" And I'm like, "Honey, don't read those things." Because the thing is, you'll read 20, and 19 are super nice and like very, you know, great things about her, and then there's one that's like not very nice, and then of course that's the one that's stuck in her head, and she can't.
Heavier than Angelina Jolie.
Like one comment, one nasty comment 4 years ago, and she still can't get over it. This is the reason I stay away from all these blogs and all these comments and stuff. But and also to just give it over to you, because I think it is a great opportunity. Kristin does great charity work, and for someone who gets a lot of attention, you can use Twitter and Instagram and all that kind of stuff for more than just updating your fans on what you had for lunch. And maybe you want to talk a little bit about that, because Kristin's doing an amazing job.
Yeah, I think that's, for me, the upside of it. And then, you know, there's sort of a trade-off. I mean, my husband was wearing a funny hat at Christmas, and I took it, and I said, "Can I post that?" And he was, "Yeah." And then the next day, he came running in the room, freaked out and horrified that there was a picture in my family's living room of him in a funny hat, and couldn't figure out how it got there. And he didn't realize what post meant. But so I have to learn to not post pictures of him. But I realize people want that trade-off. There is an interest in the show and an interest in our private lives, but also we can together do a lot of good. And it's the only way that good ever happens is together. So that's, you know, I stepped into the world very nervous, and am now embracing it and looking at my numbers and all sorts of horrible things. But I'm very appreciative of the support that I've gotten from the fans in the social world to do the things that I want to do, where I think I might be able to do some good.
No, io la penso come Alex, ho un rifiuto rispetto al social network, ma per un fatto di paura rispetto alla freddezza del mezzo. Chiunque può scrivere qualsiasi cosa, è giusto, sì, sicuramente è giusto, in un'epoca in cui è tutto filtrato, sui giornali è tutto filtrato, la libertà che c'è su internet è straordinaria. Come attrice non frequento internet, non frequento Twitter, eccetera, eccetera. Cerco di non leggere i blog, perché come dice Kristin, mi è successo anche a me un paio di volte di leggere delle cose terribili. E non importa quante cose belle ci sono scritte, insomma, facciamo un lavoro in cui siamo comunque, cerchiamo di essere, no, anche se poi per quanto se ne vuoi fregare, di essere amati, per cui insomma no, mi fa paura il social network.
Just to answer the Alan Ball question, we're not going to miss him at all, because he's not going to go anywhere. He's officially stepping down as showrunner of True Blood, but he's still going to be a producer. He's still going to have his office on the lot where we shoot the show, and this show is his creation. It's his baby. He loves it, you know, more than anything, and there's no way he's not going to be involved. We're going to see him running around every single day. He's going to read all the script. He's going to be very, very hands-on still. So That's not going to change much, even though his title is not showrunner anymore. And also for the tone of the show, it's important to emphasize that we're going to have the same staff of writers. We have the same 5 writers we've had for years. So that's not going to change. So I don't think the fans will notice a difference at all, to be honest with you, next season.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm also a girl who cries a lot and is very sentimental. So I was sad. But just, I don't like change, I think. So at the table read, the last table read, I was weepy and making him sign my script. And when he said, "I'm not going anywhere," he was like, "Calm down. I'm not even changing offices." I was like, okay. You know, so he will be there, and he wouldn't step away if we weren't in great hands. And we have amazing writers that have been on the show since the beginning, and so I think we're good. And I'm glad he's still going to be there, and I have such a huge amount of respect and love for the guy.
Ma io non posso dire poco perché comunque sono entrata quest'anno, posso solo dire che la fortuna di aver lavorato con lui è stata immensa, è un genio e traspira da ogni pori che è un genio, è un uomo di un'umanità straordinaria e quindi aver fatto parte per quanto appunto non è la sua creatura, per cui non va da nessuna parte, aver fatto parte dell'ultima stagione è stato un onore enorme, come lavorare come un sogno.
Rispetto alla seconda parte della domanda, se considerate questo show in qualche maniera antitetico o diverso semplicemente rispetto ai tanti vampiri che vediamo in giro?
Ma il vampiro è una scusa per parlare d'altro, per prendere una direzione altra, ecco, è uno show che non si prende troppo sul serio, quindi usa la primordialità del vampiro per attingere all'incredibile varietà di colori, paletta di colori che l'essere umano ha, più brutale, più terribile, e senza prendersi troppo sul serio.
And in terms of the other shows, I'm not too familiar with them, so I can't really say. I haven't seen Vampire Diaries or the Twilight movie, so I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Vampire Diaries. I had been single for too long, and so I was reading the Twilight books, and I had become 16 again, and it was perfect, and was happy to read 300 pages before he held her hand, and it was perfect. And then I took my nieces to the Twilight movie, and by that time I had met my husband, and I felt very above it all. By that time, I was back to my proper age. But my nieces loved it, so it's, I guess, just a different age range. And but I have always liked vampires. And I understand why she did it, and I don't mean to be a snob, but I like when vampires can't go out during the day. That's just a personal thing.
Prego,
Buongiorno Emanuele.